Well, hello, you lot. Today, we're going to be speaking just in this little snippet about Sheffield United and their new takeover and the implications that could have on the January window. And of course, Leeds United. Now, this is a big period for the club, our beloved club, as Leeds go into this period almost fine with the squad. Daniel Farker has mentioned almost an opportunistic standpoint from the Whites, us going in for certain individuals if they're worth it. Leeds obviously have 3 loan spots available in this period, of which we can bring in a central attacking midfielder. We can bring in a number 9. Goodness me, could we even bring in a goalkeeper? Will pigs fly? But overall, Leeds United can do damage in terms of the financial side of it with transfers. But of course, the loan market is probably the most advantageous for Leeds United purely on the basis that you're not having to outlay that much money. And you're also just, as we've seen with Manor Solomon, essentially spending money on maybe a transfer fee, but of course, loan structure as well. Now, our neighbours across the road who are 3 points ahead of us and are quite consistent at this moment in time have had some really, really big news over the past sort of month or two, I believe it has been, where there's been conversations about a new ownership that is coming to the party. Now, I don't want to miss out too many details here, but there is a new consortium that's in town now. The sheikh that is currently at Sheffield United, from what I understand, doesn't really think that he can take Sheffield United any further when it comes to a financial aspect when they get into the Premier League. If they get into the Premier League, can he kick them on? I don't think that's the notion right now. I think he thinks that he can get them to a certain level, but then it needs someone else to come in and then take them to that next level. As we know with the Premier League, even with Leeds United, we're very, very lucky to have the 49ers enterprises here who have serious cash flow, of which they've spoken about before. Kinnear's spoken about this before. When we get up to the Premier League, they then can cause damage. But as of right now, we can't really do that because of all the financial restrictions. But big news when it comes to Sheffield United, everybody. Sheffield United takeover by an American consortium has been completed and will be officially announced soon. The group, which is led by Stephen Rosen and Helmi El Tuki, they said they had received full clearance from the English Football League this month. The takeover brings Abdullah, Prince Abdullah, 5-year spell at the sole owner of the club over the Blades, top of the championship with 45 from 21 games. They look to win promotion. Rosen is the founder and chairman of Resilience Capital Partners, while El Tuki chairs biotech company. Blah, 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 blah. So the interesting side of this for me is after doing quite a bit of research, we don't know how this is going to go. We have no idea how this is going to go. How Sheffield United have been run for the last 5 years is that the Prince has done a really decent job. There's been an exchange of managers, but from reading in and around it, from speaking to certain people as well, there is no notion of how this can go. We don't know if this consortium is going to come in. I don't think Sheffield United fans know. Well, they definitely don't, because there's nothing on the news beat of if this consortium are going to come in and do anything. Are they going to sell a big player? You know, we were speaking about Gus Hamer in the summer. Look, I know some of you Blades fans are going to laugh at this and say, Connor, you've been ridiculous. But that's sort of how it can get to. We don't know if they're going to come in and really be prosperous and invest. There's Sheffield United have 2 loan spots available in this January window. Could they go and get a Ben Brereton Diaz? He's on the news circuit at the minute. He'd be a really good signing for them. He'd add a lot of depth going forward. James Bree's been mentioned as well. We know they've got quite a lot of depth, to be honest, at fullback, but would he be another versatile option that can fit within the ranks? Who knows? But overall, this is always the worry with consortiums coming in. You've been in the hands of someone who's been quite consistent, really, and he's very public facing. Prince Abdullah, you know, when you hear him, he seems to have the BBC Sheffield lads very much in his ear. He seems to be very articulate and communicative with certain members of the fan base. He's done really well with the media, of which, to be honest, I'd absolutely love that with Leeds United. I'd love the media to be really close in on not only the fan channels, but the news circuit in and around Leeds, the buzz, really, so that we can filtrate to the fans and have discussions about it. Not have too much insight, of course, but a little bit more transparency. And I think Abdullah has had that. We know he's massive on Sheffield United and essentially supports the club. So his reign has been really good, and look at the stabilization of Sheffield United and the trauma in terms of, like, you know, Wilder leaving, Jukanovic, I remember the saga there, and how they've dealt with this season with 20 players leaving, and he's done really, really well to back Chris Wilder again in his second tenure at the club. But the interesting part of this is, how could this impact Leeds United? Well, there's a whole understanding right now that Sheffield are going to go out in the window and they're going to buy from a general perspective, a general consensus. But are they? A new consortium coming in. I just mentioned them getting rid of Gus Hamer. Is that realistic? I don't think so. But they could be coming in to make a quick buck. And isn't this the whole saga when it comes to football ownership? You really don't know what's happening now. The consortium that were coming in, there's rumors that they're there's a background of the American consortium, and as we said, Stephen Rosen is involved in capital partners, while El Tuki chairs biotech company Guardian Health. But it is very much like, okay, well, what happens now? Obviously, the Prince will hand over the club after being promoted twice to the Premier League during his tenure and has reached the FA Cup final last year. And it's been, as I say, it's been a really good period. So I wonder how Sheffield United fans are thinking about this. We also surface face. We don't know that much about it. But the new people coming in, we don't know. And isn't that the unknown of football? Takeovers, we don't know. They're coming in right now, and we're turning around and going, okay, well, let's hope so. Sheffield United in the Premier League, I think very similarly to Leeds, if we get to the Premier League, we will need serious investment. And you're hoping with an American consortium coming in that that's going to happen. But we don't have an idea really. So how this affects Leeds is Sheffield United could be aggressive in the window. They could be laying out some real financial, some real financial might in that window, which for me would affect Leeds United. Would it affect Leeds to almost purchase more potentially and react, to Sheffield United? I don't think Leeds act that way really, but potentially if Sheffield United are going out there and really strengthening, Leeds might think, with maybe another injury or another body, that they might need to do something. But on the other consensus as well, if Sheffield United are not to do anything and they're to get weaker, potentially with maybe a new consortium coming in and trying to make a quick buck. And this isn't saying this will happen, Sheffield United fans or Leeds United fans. It's not saying that. But this is going to be interesting how this impacts Leeds, because the higher ups at Leeds United will definitely be looking at this. You've got one of your rivals, your main competitors, having a new takeover. But with new takeover can be prosperity, but also there can be some problems in there if you're not sure if they're going to invest deeply. But I think the main thing with Sheffield is that these two loan spots, they're looking at bringing bodies in. If you listen to the rumours and stuff on the circuit, really. And if Ben Brereton Diaz comes in, I think it would be a really decent signing for him. Another attacking body who has done very well in the Championship previously. James Bree, bit of a utility man, but maybe it's just going to be a window, especially if the consortium come in and just want to consolidate and go on and on and on and maintain what they have. It could just be another January of very, very quiet business when it comes to all three clubs at the top. Who knows? Burnley, not that much noise, even though there was talk a little bit earlier on about attacking impetus and bringing players in on that front. That's now gone quiet. If you have a look at the rumor mill, really, and Sheffield United could go one way or the other way. And doesn't this just, as football fans, it's crazy, isn't it? The implications of a takeover affect us all, but we don't really know what's going on. We don't really know who's taking over. Did we know with the 49ers, really? Enterprises, we've got several investors. Who's who, who's where? What implications is this going to have on us in the Premier League? And it's very similar with Sheffield United as well. With this new consortium coming in, who are they and how are they going to impact our club? But it's definitely going to impact Leeds United in that January window, especially if they're bringing in bodies, but especially if they let go bodies and just want to make a quick buck. Who knows? Not saying this is going to happen, but you never know with ownership. Let me know what you think in the comment section below when it comes to Leeds fans. Let me know, Sheffield United fans as well. What do you think is going to happen with this new consortium coming in? And Leeds fans, do you think it'll affect us in terms of us going out, galvanising Leeds United and maybe being a little bit reactive instead of opportunistic? Let me know. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.